If I just put a mono cassette in this thing, it'll just switch to normal, comes up with normal on the edge of the VU level meter display there. Sound comes out no problem. Put a hi-fi tape in here with our audio heads, hi-fi heads connected up off the main drum assembly, and we get no sound. If I unplug that, stop the tape, unplug it, start it again, it'll go into normal mode. So it's basically some part of this circuit's got to be working because it's detecting the hi-fi sound is there. So the hi-fi is coming off the heads, probably enough to get, I think there's like a 19 kilohertz pilot tone, which will then switch the machine into hi-fi mode. The only thing that was a bit weird is if you unplug the heads while it's playing, it doesn't automatically lose whatever and switch back over. So it seems that once it's in hi-fi mode, it likes to stay in that mode. Maybe something to do with the microprocessor. Once it gets the signal, it locks it into hi-fi mode until you like stop the tape and start again. So I don't think that's a real big issue at doing that. But I guess the next thing, it looks like it goes into a little preamp section. Possibly an adjustment there for something like the pilot tone. And then it's split into these two, again, these sort of little thick film type aluminium module things. One for each channel. But the fact we haven't got either channel, I'm guessing something in this preamp section must be getting as far as the pilot tone, if that's what's happening. Still got our audio heads. I think that's the record switching there. I don't know why we have a muting signal, but we also have a muting signal here. So two little buffer amplifiers or whatever into the switching bit, which it also has an amp, so it switches between the two amps. Some sort of emphasis or something maybe, or is that an amp? I can't really read that very well. And then we've got split into two bits, and we've got one channel, two channel processing. So I guess we need to see, are we getting a signal out of this first chip? Are we getting a signal out of the second chip? Because I'm guessing this bit's probably not the issue. Not likely to have two channels completely separate out, so it's most likely this common signal to both. But the fact that we've got the heads connected makes a difference. That's a record amplifier in red's record. Where does it detect? I'm not seeing anything to say where the pilot is detected, if it has one. So that's another issue. So could it be, well, it knows there's a signal there. That's that audio mute line, which does all sorts of muting all over the place. I don't think that's necessarily the issue. Switching circuit buffer. What is that? That detects something while I look at it. Asks for tracking. I think we'll have to get this bit of shielding off this thing. Will be the first step, so I can actually access those chips. But there's definitely been work done on here. Someone's patched a couple of bits of damage. They must have had this module out or something, or maybe it's just disconnected for some other reason. These tracks have been cleaned off and resoldered. Often sign that this is, like I say, this could well have been a swapped over board or something. By adjusting the contrast and stuff, I got this manual to look a lot better than what it looked like originally. That's the original printout, fairly blurry and low contrast, hard to read any of the text. Whereas this, I can actually read it. It's getting back to what a normal printed manual would look like, an original one. So what we got, that's the head input. So that's that 4-pin connector there. Two signals, which are still the separate heads. They get amplified in this IC 4509. Then the two signals, they're just amplified, so it's just the two separate heads. They go into this IC 4510 and AN 3312. and we should have here, there's a head switch, first, second amp, two of them. Anyway, looks like the two heads get amplified. We've got some sort of switcher to combine them, a peaking amp, an AGC, and output. So that's when we get a single signal, which is the two heads. Of course, they're scanning the tape one after the other, so it's like a sequential output from two separate heads. And that goes, these are the transistors that goes through. There's a coupling capacitor, two bandpass filters, these square boxes, and I don't know, that's where these arrows are, into pin 20 on one of the modules, and it would be the same on the other one, into pin 20 on that as well. So I guess we might even start at that pin 20 and see if we're getting the same signal going into both audio modules. That's these long little thick film type things, even though they're an aluminium substrate, I think, with plastic type flexible circuit boards stuck to them. So I did have a look. That's the AN, that's the switching chip, that's the twin amp chip. So it comes in that connector through that long flat package SIP IC, single inline pin thing, and then out of that, two channels just amplified from the heads, goes into our switching one. Out of that we should get, that was that pin I looked at, I think just a pin 11, I think I said it was. Yeah, pin 11, it was definitely pin 11. Couldn't read it that well before. That should be the two heads combined. So that's our sort of serial or sequential signal. So over time we're switching one head to the other. And then again, what do we do? So we've got the two things, and yeah, like I think I said before, they must have different frequency range or something, because they can't quite read that. Is that a something 4 megahertz, or it might be 1.4 megahertz, 1.6 megahertz. So that's how we get the two channels back out of it, which is now there simultaneously in that sequential signal with it. So we've got two signals, we put them in series, and then we've got to split them again into two separate channels, looks like by frequency, and then we've got a demodulator, I guess. It looks like, is it demodulator? Not sure what that says there. And do whatever in these other chips. Now, where are the pin numbers on these big chippy things? Is that 35, 34? So that must be it. 25, there's pin 20, it's actually labelled for us. That's the fourth one up, I think. Turn the machine back on. Hit play. And pin 20 there. Still nothing. So we're muted by that point, maybe. Okay, so we're not getting signal as far as that. We want that pin 11, I think was that one, was it? And I'm probably blocking everyone's view. That's a bit better, but it looks like we've got a good sequential signal there. Whether it's high enough, where's our position? In amplitude, I think it showed us somewhere on here. There is some sort of oscillogram. That's for a chord. But we can assume that's probably a good signal. So then we've got to find these transistors and stuff. So that's coming out of this chip. So it looks like that and that are working. We've got to find, what are these? VLF 118 or something. Or is that the type number? Yeah, that's not the, what's the circuit location number? FL 4503 and 4504. That's 4503, so maybe it's these two ones are each channel, one for each channel, so that's probably FL. Yeah, 504. Oh, it says 504. I thought it was 4504, but anyway, I know FL 503, 504. Let's see. That's got a large signal on it. Probably been amplified. And if those other two pins are ground, I think. Not much coming out. Well, there's a bit coming out the other side. That might be the other side, so that would be the input side. Oh yeah, that's got an even larger signal. Let's compare them and see if they're the same. So that's 4 going on 5 divisions, I guess. That one's definitely lower. And we've got less than 1 division out there. Which end was it? And yeah, definitely a bigger signal on one channel. Okay, I just realised that this pin 20, where it's labelled, actually has a little tiny arrow across the next pin. So the signal from the bandpass filters is getting there. It's a bit stronger on that side by the look of it. And the signals are slightly different, but they're getting to this module. So these are the modules. We go in on 20 there, through some sort of amp limiter. Not sure what that says. Is it AGC, VCO, a muting line? That's not connected to that at the moment. We've got a record playback switch. So in playback we've got some sort of, that says EF. So it should come back out pin 14, which is then pin 45 of these modules. Is that the actual audio out and playback? Oh no, it goes back in again. So that's a good place. We can probably pick the signal up. That's 35, that's 50. Which one's 50 though? 35, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 2, 4, 6, did I say 45? Oh yeah, that looks like audio. I wonder if we've got a muting problem here. Pin 45, I can't find it now. Yeah, 45, that's the output. So it's the one with a little link there. And is it this link here? It was 2, 4, 6, 8 along. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, it's this other link here. And we've got a little bit of rubbish there, but no audio. That looks like probably a viable channel. So let's go further into this, I guess. Where is the main output? It goes 45 out. Can't actually tell where the signal goes through here. It goes in through there, back into 41. I think it is, so I guess we can check 41. Out of 46, in through 41. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, that link is 46. 5, 4, 3, 2, 41, I think, so that one there. Well, that looks like audio. That is the 5th one, no, 6th one along from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, that bloody cap's in the way. Is it that one? Oh, yeah, it's got audio there. Oh, so we've got 2 channels. So both are working. Oh, but that 46 wasn't working. Well, not very well. It's got a bit more audio than it did before. Seems to come out of the 41 fine. Well, compared to the other channel. That's really weird. 41, and then I can't work out where it goes from there because it goes into all this hold circuit and stuff. They've left something off their circuit, I suspect. But should eventually come out of pin 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That says 9 on it, but anyway. There's definitely something rubbish there. So it's the second one back. Oh, we've got audio there. It's got audio on pin 8 where it comes back out. But that's with this going, but I want to just check the whole thing. 8 goes back into 40. Is that 40? In 40 and out 37, I think. Can't read this circuit very well, but in through, what did I say? 40 and out 37. 34, 5, 6. Well, that's 37. Let's see if there's anything there out of it. Well, there must be because it's coming out of this unit. So that's the third pin along. $37, 8, 9. Why didn't I just check 40? I don't know if I checked 40 or 41. It's coming out 37. It's got to have it on 40. Anyway. So it's wherever the audio goes next is playing up. Okay, so I've printed out a bit more of the circuit. And we've really got to chase from these. I think it's pin 37. Still very hard to read even with zooming in on it a bit and increasing the contrast and stuff. But we follow that signal out. I think I got as far as finding it was there. I can't remember. And then basically these go out to another chip that I think switches it almost to the output of the... They end up coming up into this chip here, I think. Yeah, it's got the headphone amps, some control logic. Is that channel select? Not sure. Yeah, maybe that's that button on the front to, or was it the type? Yeah, maybe to select either left or right for bilingual or something like that. And it basically comes out and goes to the AV sockets from there, I think. So there's not a lot left in there to actually test. But I'll get a tape playing again and see if that pin 37 is putting out an output, and there is some muting and stuff in that last IC. So this is a IC 4506 BA7055. What's that, 24 pin or something? So it's possible there's something from the microprocessor or somewhere telling it to mute the signal or not send it through the chip, or it's routed to the wrong output or something, or we haven't got power to this chip. So I'm starting to think it's probably likely in that area. I just started the input because I expected it to be somewhere around the heads, and I wasn't too sure, you know, like I said, there was a small worry in my mind that it could have been the drum assembly that we replaced, and I thought that was very unlikely. So I sort of started at the wrong end by the look of it, but that's often the way with these things. That's probably the chip there. Is that a BA? It's definitely a BA something. One of those double row, almost like an audio output chip. IC 4506, is that it? IC 4506, yeah, that's the one there on the output there, around where a lot of these cables are coming and going, shielded cables. So we'll get this thing running. Better get the TV going, I guess. And I said pin 37, didn't I? That's 35, I think. 6, 7. And looks like there's audio on that one. That bottom trace, I guess we'll probably go back to single trace. Of course they stop talking as soon as you do that. And it's the third one in from that end. And again, looks like we've got some audio there. This is why you normally have a music video or something that is constant sound output for test purposes, or even a test tape, but you don't really want to be listening to test tapes all day. So we used to record like Rage off the ABC or something was the perfect thing. So that we come out of those and that's this line across the bottom here. Two of them get together there, and I think we need to go to the other side of the same page. Yeah, it's this FM out 1 and 2, even though it's not FM as such anymore, but what they obviously call this FM audio. So it would be what you'd also call hi-fi. So it's these two lines, and we've got to find them on the next page, which I probably should have highlighted on the computer. I think that's those here, 2 arrows next to 1 arrow. I probably should sticky tape these together even. So these two lines, they come up to our BA chip through a couple of capacitors, which may be the easier way to find them. 13 and... that can't be 13. Oh, 13 and 15. Of course, the chip has staggered leads, so it's 13 and 15 next to each other. 1, 2, so it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That should be... oh, that's 11, 13. We've got audio. 15. We've got audio. Now look at that. That's interesting. So why have we got no bloody output? Control logic, FM selector goes into both. Well, one thing I didn't check is the headphone out, which is, I can barely read that. 3, so it must be 5 and 7. And 4 and 2, 4, 6, and it must be 4 and 8. 5 and 7. Couldn't be that stupid, could it? 1, 3, that's 5. Nothing. Alright, that's 7 there. Nothing out of there. So have we got a volume control or something there setting it down? Oh, we selected the wrong input. So nothing to headphones. What did I say the other ones? 4 and 8, was it? 2, 4 is that one. Nothing to speak of. 6, 8 is that cap. Nothing. Okay, where's the power coming to this chip is the next thing to check. I hope we haven't got some button set wrong here. Be my luck. Ground, ground, ground. Some transistor switches, some more transistors. Control logic, so is this more what it selects? FM select, so that's the input. That's normal out. I think normal when it comes in works. So when we've got FM, does this chip decide that it's going to mute the normal input? It just goes through. Well, look, there is that a mute? No, it's got to be. Well, we've got this control logic feeds into it. MDR. There's some muting transistors that when you find a transistor on an audio line that goes to ground on one side on the emitter, that's a mute line. Q4515, 4514. Are these the main audio outs? They are. And we still didn't find a B plus to this thing. So we've got two transistors, that's our main audio out, A and B. And you've got a transistor with a collector on the audio line after a cap and a resistor and the emitter to ground. You don't even need to know what MDR stands for. It's obviously a mute line. You put a voltage on the base, it shorts your audio to ground, one on each channel, and they go around these little arrows all the way around and straight to the AV output sockets, line out, channel 1, channel 2. So one thing to check would be pin 10 and 2 for around 0.6 volts shorting, or not shorting, but telling that transistor to short out the audio. And I'm trying to look for where's the B plus for this thing. Is that it? It's through a 10k resistor, not likely. Ground, oh here, this pin 1 might be it. That's a common sort of pin to use. Well, that goes through a 2700 resistor. It goes dot 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 into the control logic. So cap, 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 cap. Oh, that's our phone headphones output. Oh, they say phone out, phone amp. 2 inputs. That's cap connector, normal audio input. I still don't see it. That must be that. Pin 24 maybe? No, that goes through a diode, blah, blah, blah. What's this big line here? That's got to be the B+, hasn't it? It goes to pin 8 of that IC. It's this dark line. It goes through a 10k resistor. Surely it's got a better... 68 ohm. No, that goes into our... Oh no, they're our line. It must be this pin. Pin 11. Goes round through a 10k resistor or whatever. Yeah, it must be pin 11 here through a 68 ohm resistor. Do we have a fusible resistor which we're known for going in these things? That looks like a 68 ohm there. Is that 68? Okay, so we have a big blue 68 ohm resistor there. You can almost guarantee that is a one designed to fuse out if it needs to. Do I need to check that that goes to pin 11? Where's just the other side of it? I think we can assume that's going to be it. One side of it's there to a link. Comes over here to this brown wire and into that pin, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Yeah, I think it does go to 11. Yeah, that little white circle thing there. So the other end of that brown wire. Wouldn't be the first time I've chased right through a Panasonic or National Panasonic to find out it's got a faulty resistor. Actually, I don't need the tape running for that anyway. Fusible resistors were a common cause of issues in these things, and we seem to be, I think the drum's getting a bit wet because it's pretty cold at the moment. 1.2 volts on that side. Yeah, 1.2 volts on that side. Oh, it ain't the resistor, I think. Oh, 12 volts there, what? Oh, now there's 12 volts there. What? Is that thing dry jointed or something? I wonder if the... It's, yeah, well, it's, I don't know if they've actually cracked the track there, but it's certainly wobbling around. Who knows, I could have even bumped that when I was messing around, but pretty unlikely. It is in a sort of position to hit some of these wires and stuff, so that's... Could just be people moving around, including me. Let's measure the resistor. Good, and we seem to have 12 volts on that side, and that's open circuit on that track. So all that hassle over that, so it's just, there's no power to that chip. So I need to just solder a little bit of wire across. Oh, I'm glad after all this. Wait, I don't want that on. I want that on. Well, that's a relief if after all this it doesn't even need a part. It's just a simple loss of voltage. But that type of fusible resistor don't normally go unless there's something serious. The earlier NV870s, and what was the earlier version of these? NV870, I think it was. They used to have, I think, little yellow sort of quarter watt resistors up on a couple of bits of that fiberglass tubing, I think similar to that. Possibly not, but I think they might have had the tubing. I think they were like, it had a bit of yellow plastic, like heat shrinks stuck over them or something. I think that was the National ones. They might have just been the smaller blue resistors, like that little fella there. That's a fusible, just a blue coloured 1/4 water. But it was quite a common issue in these machines, and they'd often just go for no reason. Seemingly they're meant to just cook up when something fails. That joint that I fitted with is definitely looking dry on that end of the resistor, so we'll... Problem with these resistors is they tend to run a bit hot sometimes. Oh yeah, now it's definitely broken now. Now that resistor's, it's sort of come completely loose now, so I can see that's definitely got a broken track. Oh, nice one, it's something simple. And of course it bridged across to there. You couldn't make it bridge that gap if you wanted to. Just wants me to suck that bit of track off, doesn't it? So I'll just give that a quick scratch as well. And I'll solder a bit of wire over there, because those sort of components, especially not a great design that it's coming down onto a bit of wiring there. I think it's fitting in between, but it's a sort of, I think it does just about push on that wiring harness. Maybe that's sitting in the wrong place. That thing there probably should be over there or somewhere. Again, if people have fiddled with this over time, that's the sort of thing. Yeah, that's definitely better there. That should be there somewhere, I think. Maybe it was even meant, I don't think it was meant to sit in that thing, but yeah, that is a better position for that wiring. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it would just be something simple with both these faults. Given the age of the machine, and if people may have been fiddling in it, it's often just something simple like that. Okay, my tin copper wire's gone missing, so I'm just going to solder a ceramic capacitor lead on there. That'll have to do. I'll get that joined to the resistor, and that bit of track I just scraped off just to give it plenty of mechanical attachment there. And just check we haven't got that connected to anything else. So that should connect to that pin, well, that brown wire will do. I've connected to the stuff next to it. Oh, well, that might solve the audio issue. If I can get this tape to play. And looks like we've got audio.
It's my dad.
And a stereo light up. So there should be, I thought there should be a stereo light on this thing somewhere.
Listen one for my mom these days. Hi, Daddy.
So I don't think that stereo light there in orange was coming up before, where they had normal or nothing. And we can select, yeah, left or right for, and normal. Now that switch is working again as well. I wonder why that stopped working, but oh, because there's no power. That must be what the logic is in that chip. So it was connected. We still got the Hi-Fi light on, but that's why that button wouldn't work, because no power to the chip. So obviously that BAIC, the logic stuff in that, does that. Oh, that's a relief. So all we've got to do is really get this colour module replaced. Hopefully the other machine has the same one in it. So I'll see if I can find a number on this board. Looks like something's all been printed over, and I'll have to send it to the guy. And probably have to just send me this whole assembly anyway. But I thought I might as well see if I could fix this board, because why not? That's what we're here to do. Whoops, I'll just unplug the heads. But of course it was at the complete other end of the system to where I started. But I might just do a quick video on this too sometime of, we'll have a look at the signal coming off the heads and how there's two separate heads that then get joined together in a one continuous audio signal as the other head basically leaves the tape and spins through space for a bit before hitting the tape again. Because it's quite a fascinating system. I'm not an expert on it. I don't know if I've got a technical information anywhere, but they used to do some good technical manuals on these videos that would tell you exactly how the system worked. But you can usually work out the gist of how it works, since it's basically very similar to the video head system anyway. But that's a relief, that seems to be working. And we're just going to find out what this board is. Oh, there it is, VEP 03232 by the look of it. And what's this one? It's a VEP 03229. Where's the audio one? There's a VJB or something. Whoops, watch it doesn't tip over. VJB 04106 4500 series. So if this board's the same, and particularly that one, chances are that Blaupunk thing should be the same machine. I'm getting to send that across, make sure we get the colour working right, and then we can look at doing the belts and making sure the mechanical section's all in good working order and serviced, and hopefully I can get rid of this thing finally, because it'd be good to see this go back to the owner and be used again, because they were a really nice machine, these things. So still not sure why the colour section doesn't work. Very rare for that to fail. We found out why the audio section worked. It could have been me fiddling it, it could have been someone else, but just the fact that wiring harness wasn't in the best position was enough to bump that resistor at some stage. So that was people meddling with the machine. If it hadn't been touched, that would have never failed. So that's mechanical damage. So like I say, they normally are very reliable, the electronics in these Japanese machines, even the capacitors and stuff, even with the age of these things. But that's a good relief to get that going. And it looks like the camera's fogging up again, so I'm going to go and get in front of the wood heater, and we'll get on this guy and get him to post out that bit, I think. And fingers crossed we can finally get this machine all up and running.